Hey guys, how y'all doing? It's me, Johnny, once again. As always, welcome to the channel once again, and welcome to a new video, and thank you so much for sharing my passion for Sorare and being here and taking part in the content. As always, guys, if you do enjoy, make sure to hit that like button. The channel has been growing really nicely, so thank you so much for the incredible growth on the channel, guys. It really means a lot. And generally speaking, guys, if you want to sign up for Sorare, the link in the description down below is an affiliate link. If you do sign up using that link straight away, at the bottom of your invite friends section, it should say my referrer, Johnny Sports. If that has gone through, you now officially have the chance to, not the chance, the guarantee to buy 5 players off the auction market. And if you do so, you get a free limited card. I now have had the success of having 2 goalkeepers from Asia being rewarded to me so far, and both of them were worth over 80 euros. So if you get lucky, it can range from like 1, 2, 3, 4 euros up to the hundreds. And yeah, let's see how it goes for you. Thank you so much to everyone that does use that link. It massively helps my Sorare journey, and it has absolutely no negative effect on you, which is the beautiful part of it. So guys, what has happened this game week? We have made some massive purchases, as you guys know, in our club. And those were the likes of Kökçü, who is currently one of the best, if not the best, under 23 player in the game in that midfield position. And we have signed up Sinisterra, who in the past has proven that he can be absolute quality for the same team as Kökçü, and now is coming back into form after an injury. So, looking at our teams, Champion Europe Rare. It started off well. Diaby did well. He got 71.4 points for me. I highly trust in this kid. I like him a lot. My only issue is that he is currently my only Champion Europe forward that I have, because ideally I would love to have the ability to kind of rotate him into this team and possibly put him in instead of Vinicius Souza into that squad, because he has insane decisive capabilities these days. And I've been watching the Bayer Leverkusen games, and he is just quality. So he started off well. Everything was going great. Next day, I only had 1 game for my lineups. It was the likes of AC Milan, first in the league, stepping up against the last place team in the league, which was Salernitana at that point. And the opposition score for AC Milan in this stage was looking great. I thought, you know what? Tomori has just recently joined into the team. I know I can play him in under 23, but I'd rather have Saliba there because he gets consistent, insane scores due to the passing that he does a lot of times and just generally being an amazing centre-back. So I put Tomori into the Champion Europe, which is like my second most important team. The most important for me will always be the under 23s. But Tomori and his club sadly picked up 2 goals. They conceded 2 goals. And one of the goals, I personally would say, that he was completely at fault for. He seemed to lack the urgency when a cross came in from the wings, and he had the biggest guy on him who kind of got rid of Tomori immediately, got in front of him, and headed the ball in for an easy goal, technically. And Tomori, sadly, in that position, did not look good at all. So he picked up 39.3 points. If you look at defense, he has -4 for goals conceded, and he has lost possession a million times and has lost a lot of duels, especially against that guy that he was up against. So one thing that I'm going to keep in mind from now on moving forward is that Tomori, a lot of times, if he's up against a massive striker, a tall lad, like, for example, a Vlahovic or whoever he played against in that Salernitana squad. Let me go into the game here. I think I can show you who that was. It was Duric. Yeah, Duric right here, who scored the goal. He was massive. Like, he was such a physical problem for Tomori. He could not deal with it. I mean, Romagnoli got himself 70 points despite the loss. Magno, as you can tell, got 12.6, which was just abysmal. But the entire AC Milan lineup struggled. Giroud obviously got 60. Messias has been doing well for AC Milan lately. And then you have Romagnoli, who is another one of the only decent performers, alongside, of course, Theo Hernandez, who is always decisive, capable, and has proven it again. So Tomori did not look good in that game. I still have high hopes for him. I hope he is going to be getting back into himself again. Obviously, he was injured for quite some time, so he's now back into the lineup. It's going to take a little bit for him to be better. So Tomori got me to 40.9 on the next day. And then the day after, which was technically yesterday, I had a bunch of players playing. So basically all my lineups played. And Pau Lopez and Marseille are still an absolute joke. They have conceded 2 against Clermont, where they should have easily won this game, in my opinion. If you look at it on paper before the game started, you look at this and you think, okay, it's one of the best teams in Ligue 1 against one of the lower placed teams. And on top of it, they are playing in front of their fans who are known to be able to push this team forward. Now, despite the fact that this team has lost 2-0, both central defenders that I own in my club have gotten a 68-point and 63-point game, basically. And that made me wish that instead of Tomori, I used Kaletakar in this team, which is something that I'm going to consider moving forward, because this is a reoccurring theme that I have seen for Marseille defenders very, very often. The centre-backs, despite conceding, can easily get 60-plus points, and Saliba has done that once again. He is so freaking good. I'm excited about this kid's future, man. I really hope he manages to push himself into the starting lineup at Arsenal next year. If he doesn't, it would be a huge shame if he's just sat on the bench, because he is such quality. Everything he does just reminds me of Van Dijk. I don't know why, but I've been watching Marseille for like 4 or 5 games now already, and every single game I watch, his movements, his pace, his physicality, it all reminds me of that. I just wish he was a little bit more decisive capable in terms of going ahead and scoring a header, because he does have the physical prowess. Defensively, he is able to head the ball away most of the time, but when Payet has a free kick in a region like this and they are whipping the cross in, I barely ever really see him, at least from my experience so far. So I am hoping that that will change anytime soon, and he can add that to his game as well, because his passing ability at the back, his movement, his willingness to go into duels and be very smart about it has proven itself to me. So I'm very happy that still, even though they have lost here, both of the centre-backs that I had have done really well. So imagine if they actually kept a clean sheet. This would have been 80-point games for both of these guys, but it's a lot of woulda, shoulda, coulda. Marseille once again disappoint in a massive way. And they have another game coming up now against another team that is even lower ranked than Clermont in the next week. If they can't get a good result there, and if Payet can't step up, I might have to think about things in terms of, like, do I really want to keep this Marseille stack? Because my biggest issue with Marseille, first of all, is the rotation. You never know who plays in defense. I think if you look back on like the last 5 results for Marseille, you will see that every time there's a completely different lineup. Sometimes they play 5 at the back or like 4 at the back, but Camara then drops into the CDM position. Sometimes they play with 3 center-backs and they have wing-backs a little bit further forward. It's just a mess. I don't even know what this coach does. So for me, that inconsistency cannot help a team. It's only going to worry people constantly, and they're not going to be able to adjust to each other. So that is what I'm personally seeing as the biggest issue in Marseille. But nonetheless, my boy Saliba performed. But obviously, Pau Lopez, being the goalkeeper of that team, has only picked up 42.8. But the good thing about Pau Lopez is his all-round game is really good. Like, he has made some really, really big saves in that game as well. And Pau Lopez is just needing that defense to perform, because all the goals that I've seen go in so far have been none of his fault. He just needs those defenders. And in my opinion, most importantly, the CDMs to do well. If Camara doesn't play in front of that defense, it's a mess every single time. That has been my experience. So I am desperately hoping for Camara to come back into the lineup for this next game week, because if it does, I'm pretty confident that they will have, hopefully, finally, that clean sheet, because then we could be looking at 80 points for both of the centre-backs easily. Not 80, sorry. It's only a plus 10 for clean sheets, isn't it? So that would be like 70 plus for both of those lads. Nonetheless, Payet in that game, once again, had a decent all-round score, but no decisives. His free kicks and corners have been quite abysmal ever since I've picked him up. I have been watching those games. Every time he got a free kick, I thought, okay, now's the time, but it never really happened. So it was a bit upsetting to see that Payet, ever since we have brought him in, the one time where he has performed was the one time where he actually played in the Europa League, coming in as a sub, and then getting 70 points because he got a decisive. So that game week where I didn't have a full lineup, that was the one where he performed. But nonetheless, I'm going to keep my faith in Marseille for a little bit longer. If we go into FOTMob here and check out how Marseille is lined up for the next few games, you can easily see that Marseille still has a decent run of games. So we have Karabakh, where again, the entire lineup might be swapped out, because especially them playing away from home and having already beaten Karabakh 3-1, I just don't know what's going to happen there. So I'm just going to risk it and put my lineup in there and see if it sticks or not. But they still have Troy coming up after this one. So they do have the Clermont game that they lost, but they have this Troy squad coming in who are 17th. But after that, it's a bunch of very, very tough matchups, in my opinion. So Monaco is going to come in, who have an amazing team filled with incredible youngsters and people that are very much capable of causing some problems, even though if they play away. Brest is not going to be an easy matchup as well, but hopefully we can see them do well in that one. Then we have Nice, who are obviously up there in that third position, a very dangerous team. And after that, you can just tell, like, all the matchups kind of deteriorate. It gets tougher and tougher, especially with the PSG game right there. So I have like a 2-game window of these guys performing really well. If they don't, it's going to be a mess, and I'm going to be upset, especially this Troy game. I'm really hoping I can get this team to perform for that one and just get out of it at the high if I can, because I just don't see them moving forward and doing as well in those games coming up. But I might be completely wrong, because I'm expecting this team to do well against the low-ranked teams, and they don't. And then they might play against the big-ranked teams and just actually take it more serious and be more aware of the situations that they are being presented with and actually do well. So it really comes down to luck at the end of the day. If things work out or not, it just comes down to luck. Marseille is in that second position. They want to keep that spot as much as they can, so they have to perform in these upcoming weeks. That's what I'm hoping for. But their coach needs to finally decide who's going to play the back line. Can we stop rotating and changing formation every single game? Because it's clearly doing their defenders head in. So, and it does the same for me as well. The only constant in the league is Paul Lopez and Saliba. And then Kaletakar, Kolasinac, Balerdi, Lirola, all those guys getting constantly swapped out. It can't be a good thing. Then today, we also still have Napoli's Fabian Ruiz playing. As you guys can see here, it says 82.80 points to a tier 3 rare. So I have a very, very slim chance of getting rewards in Champion Europe as well, especially if you do consider the point totals that Fabian Ruiz has been able to get to, because he has had those games where he's had 90s, 93s, 100s, 90s. But I am somewhat expecting like a 60-ish game. But Cagliari is one of the worst teams in the Serie A, so maybe there is a chance. I don't know. The good thing is that we have like a 9.5% boost on Fabian Ruiz. So if he does well, we get a massive boost on top of that. And maybe there's a chance. We'll see. The off chance is still there. I don't rely on it. I personally see my Champion Europe team as a team that has already failed. So I'm not going to put my faith into it too much. And it is the team that I worry about the most. I need to step it up with this squad, because I have someone like a Moussa Diaby that I could easily use much better in the under-23 setup. And then that Champion Europe team needs to be reworked around a little bit and bringing in some more top-tier Champion Europe players. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. And then maybe rotating these guys into All-Star Rare to get at least thresholds and possibly rewards as well on the off chance that they actually do perform. Under 23s. The boys have performed, guys. The boys have performed really well. Orkun Kökçü. By the way, this is coming in from a person with Turkish origin. Please don't listen to anyone else that pronounces his name completely wrong. It's Orkun Kökçü. All right? That's how you pronounce his name. I've heard Kokus and everything. That's not his name. Anyways, Orkun Kökçü coming in with a 96.5 game on his club debut. Scores a goal from outside the box. I was watching the game live. And of course, as I said in the last video, he had that correlation impact with Luis Sinisterra that I mentioned. I think you can go back to the video and listen to it. I said correlation is important. We could easily have a situation where Kökçü passes the ball into Sinisterra and he bangs it in, and then both of them get a decisive. And that's exactly what happened. For the first goal of Sinisterra, we had a pass from Orkun Kökçü, which actually wasn't that great, into Sinisterra, and then he bangs it in into the top corner. Sinisterra managed to get him 2 decisive as well, 89.1 points, which I am very satisfied with. Considering that he has a 9% boost on him, we had a massive game week with just those 2, especially as Kökçü as the captain, bringing in 121 points. Kambur got destroyed, and Hudemakers only picked up 31.6 points. I will be mentioning Hudemakers later on as well, because the people that are in my Discord will know that I've done a little bit of a madness, but then I jumped out of it immediately. So I'll show in a second what I'm talking about here. But yeah. Saliba, 67.2. Very happy with him. 5.5% bonus. I want to get him up to as high as possible in terms of the percentage bonuses, because he gets consistent 60s. And if we can bring him up to like 10%, that's another 6-point boost. And that is big when it comes to rewards. But the team, as you can tell, is currently on tier 3 rare. So we have like a 12.88 gap to the 180th position, which would still give us a reward. And luckily, 98% of the rankings are complete, and it is expected for us to finish 140th apparently, which would put us at like a mid-tier tier 3 item that we could be winning in terms of under 23s. And if we get lucky, it could still be a very good player. But guys, honestly, even though I was extremely upset that the Kaiser conceded in the 92nd minute to go down from 60 to a 30, I still am happy at the end of the day, looking back at it right now, because I had the odd week of Vinicius Souza not performing for Mechelen. I was watching the game. I think he picked up a yellow card as well in that matchup. And just generally speaking, his performance wasn't the best. The team itself, though, did well. They won the game, and I do like the look of some of the Mechelen players. I do really, really like Nicholas Storm. I am very interested in this guy. I wanted to pick him up before, and he currently goes for 950. I mean, look at those scores, man. Look at these scores. He's a very skillful player that has some good matchups coming up, 55, 60, 56. I could easily see him do very well, but I don't know exactly how the Belgian league splits up and everything like that. So I have to look into that a little bit more. But I like the look of this guy a lot for my all-star rare team. So possibly in the future, I might think about pushing Vinicius Souza into the all-star rare team alongside Niklas Storm. And if that does happen, I'll be all right with it. I think I'll have a great attacker in Storm coming in who easily, consistently can get 70s, 60s for the club. So yeah, I have watched their game. He looked amazing. I like him a lot, and I'm very interested in him at this price. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, Mechelen won their game. Congratulations. It's just that Vinicius Souza sadly didn't perform for us as much as I hoped he would. He didn't have that much of an all-round game, and just generally was very deep in that defense and didn't really push out of it at all. Every single attack that their team had, he was the one just completely sitting back and right in front of their center backs and not even bothering to make a step past the halfway line. So I was like, all right, so this is definitely someone that's just going to be sitting back and doing his job there. And I will basically have to hope for the team to get clean sheets and do well for him to get really, really nice scores as well. But yeah, I am happy with the fact that 3 of my players performed, 2 didn't, and that results in a tier 3 rare. That's still all right, but how many times can I rely on Kökçü to get a 96.5? How many times can I rely on Sinisterra to get an 89.1? That's just not going to happen every week, and when these guys have an off week, my team doesn't win anything. So I definitely have to bring in a little bit more consistency into this team. For now, I don't have the funds in terms of disposable income to jump in and buy myself other players, but we'll see some progress in the future for sure. Ideally, I would like to bring in a champion Europe forward like a Benzema, for example, that I personally would like to really have in here, put him into this team, put Diaby into this squad, rely on his decisive scores to continue going, and have Benzema really help out this champion Europe team in a big way with consistent 70+ scores if possible. I think in his last game, he got 80 something. He had an amazing game. I watched the highlights of that Real Madrid game. He played some incredible passing play with his teammates to create those goals. And at the end, I think he scored a penalty as well. So that is how my game week has gone, my friends. And that is my current sentiment on the team. And after in the last episode mentioning that I was interested in possibly going into super rares to compete in under 23 rare pro, I think I've veered away from it. Initially, I had made a little bit of a mistake when it comes to that side of things. So as you guys might remember, I picked up Hodo markers for around 1,300 euros actually at the time. I picked up this one. People in the Discord will know. I wanted Hodo markers because I believe in his all-round game, and I thought, you know what? I might use him for the rest of the season. And then after I picked him up, which is a stupid thing to do, before I should have picked him up, I should have looked into his matchups coming up. And Cambuur has some horrible matchups coming up. So I immediately panicked. I thought, oh my God, what am I doing? First of all, they suck. In the last 5 games, they were terrible. Every game I watched from Cambuur, they looked trash. They have conceded 50 goals. Why did I not look at that? Like, again, don't listen to me to 100%. I personally make mistakes all the time. And as I mentioned in every single video, guys, this is not financial advice. I personally, I'm still new to this. I still make mistakes, and I've done one once again. And I looked at Cambuur's matchups. Twente, gonna get ruined. Ajax, gonna concede 8 goals. Then go ahead, Eagles. I don't know what's gonna happen there. Nijmegen, probably gonna get smashed anyways. Then after that, they have Vitesse, who have great attackers. Going to be an issue away from home. PSV Eindhoven, going to destroy them. Heerenveen, I watched yesterday against PSV Eindhoven, and they looked promising at certain times. So Heerenveen at home, probably against Cambuur. Who knows what's going to happen? It's a mixed matchup there. Waalwijk, yeah, sure. Maybe they do well. Maybe they suck. I don't know. I just see a lot of bad matchups, and I thought, what have I done? I have picked up Hodo markers at the worst time. Now, after I have done that, I have basically realized that I might have picked up Hodo markers, his super rare, for a little cheap at the time. So a month ago, Hodo markers sold for 1.3k, right? For 1.3k, and I picked them up for the same price. Normally, super rares tend to go up in price as the months go on. So I offered it to Luca Magic. Luca Magic is a big account who has a lot of super rares, and I thought, you know what, if I can go ahead and make an offer to him, I think he would see the value in this player. And he did, because I gave him Hodo markers, who I bought for 1,300. He has already listed them up for 1,900 because he sees the value in this player, and he probably has seen the scores. And I personally kind of used that to my advantage. I offered it to Luca Magic, and I gave him ETH on top for exposure to the Ajax squad. Yes, guys, we have brought in an Ajax under 23 into the club that is possibly getting a move away from the club in this upcoming summer. There is talks about him joining Barcelona. There's a lot of talk about Mazraoui moving on to a different team. But the reason why I wanted Mazraoui in my club was because I well and truly do think it's very important for someone like me to have exposure to the Ajax players. Oh, did I do this wrong? Mazraoui, there we go. So if you look at Mazraoui's scores, you can see that he gets incredible scores at times, and he plays in the most dominant team in Sorare. And lately, as you can see, his matchups have been pretty good. His scores have been really, really good as well. So I thought, moving forward, I would like to have him in my team because he plays in the most successful team there. And I think if he just gets a decisive, we're looking good. And basically, I have brought him in due to the reason I've brought him in for the price that he would have cost on the market. So basically, I offered the exact value of Hodo markers plus however the plus side would have been for me to go ahead and get Mazraoui. So at the end of the day, I didn't really make a loss in this one, which I'm very happy with. So Mazraoui has come into the team for exactly the value he had on the market at the time. And I know, I'm fully aware, fullbacks, I've said this a million times, I don't like fullbacks, but a player playing in the best team on Sorare with possibilities of picking up clean sheets a lot of times and with possibilities of picking up decisives as well if he can. I mean, look at his all-round score here, 39.2, 43.4. Then he has a decisive there, which is great. Then he has 37.3. Right there, he has another 34, another 26. And all of those are probably due to clean sheets, are a little bit boosted. And I personally wanted exposure to the Ajax squad. And this is my first Ajax player. And for the rest of the half year that I have, I'm pretty confident that I can get this value back immediately in the until summer. So by the time I'm done with Mazraoui, by the time he is done with under 23s as well, I'm very confident that I'll be having that value back. So I decided to spend the rest of my funds on a Mazraoui to come in. And if you look at my saved lineups for the future, I'm already planning with him in the under 23s because that looks much better. Having an Ajax player in there with obviously bad matchup, not bad, but tough matchup for Feyenoord up against AZ away from home, 4th against 3rd. That's going to be a battle and a half. I can easily see one of these guys getting a decisive and the other not necessarily doing as well. So we'll see how that goes. But we have now some incredible players in the under 23s, and on the off chance that the Kaiser can get a clean sheet, that could propel us into like tier 1 territory. So that is the setup that I have thought about for the under 23 rare moving forward. Obviously, with the potential of bringing in a champion Europe player here into that forward position and then move Diaby down here and then maybe use Mazraoui in the all-star division. So this is technically the setup that we have right now. If all of our players are available to play, we have a full champion Europe team, we have a full under 23 rare team, and we are slowly building some very, very good players coming in for the all-star rare grind as well. Not only for the threshold, but possibly playing for rewards there. So that is basically the update that I wanted to give you guys. But I can tell you right now, nothing is going to remain exactly the same as it is right now. But I am a little bit more settled on my team. I am not going to be investing as much as I have in previous 2 months, I should say. Because right now, I feel like I'm at a point where I should be playing for rewards, and I am playing for rewards, and I will be getting a reward. I believe that is tomorrow, right? Tuesday? Yeah, tomorrow we'll be having our under 23 rare reward, hopefully, which I'm excited about. And on the off chance that Fabian has an incredible game, we might even have a champion Europe. Guys, that is me done for today. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much for tuning in into this massive update. A big player coming into our club in terms of an Ajax under 23. So I'm excited about that one. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will catch you on the next video. Let me know your thoughts. And as always, if you do want to sign up for Sorare, use the affiliate link down below to get a free item once you have bought yourself 5 players. I also will be doing giveaways for people that have used my link only in the future. So that will be happening as well. Another plus side to signing up. Have a good one, guys. Take care and peace.